Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide. Today we're going to revisit one of the devices that I've checked out earlier, and the device in question is Kobo Elipsa. Kobo Elipsa came out 9-10 months ago, and I've had it for a while now to actually test it out and be sure to see how it behaves with updates and things like that. When it originally came out, there were things that were really good and there were some things that were not so good, and I was hopeful that maybe over time some of these things can be improved and would be improved via the software updates. So let's revisit the device now 9-10 months after and see how does it stack up. All right, so let's cover, area by area, the Kobo Elipsa. So it has received a couple of updates and the system has been improved here and there. However, I wanted to go through basically a list of the cons and the negatives that I experienced during the original review of the Elipsa and see where the platform is in relation to those things now. I'm going to start with the writing experience and the notebook experience itself. It's a basic notebook to begin with. Main problem with the writing experience was actually this pen. Now the pen itself is a Microsoft standard, so you can use a Dell something Pro pen and you can use a Microsoft Surface pen, but honestly I've tried them, but they're all the same kind of thing. So this one is not really that much worse than any of the other pens there. The problem is that all of the pens of that standard are clacky, are using the same super hard nibs and have the same issues as this pen. So within the world of this kind of standard that Kobo is using, this is a perfectly good pen and it's well balanced, excellent materials and all that kind of stuff. But the nib and the pressure sensitivity, how it's calibrated and just the way it's made, it's really not something that you can compare to the likes of the new Books pen, the Remarkable pen, or especially not the Supernote pen. So it's a very different kind of a situation, and it was a problem then, it still is a problem. How could it have been remedied? Well, they could have issued a new pen, but that's more expensive. A much cheaper solution would have been to issue soft felt nibs, replacement nibs for the same pen, right? Because unfortunately we can't reuse. This is a standard that it's using and it's not a compatible standard to normal nibs, so you can't really use them. But at the very least they could have released, a set of soft felt nib tips that are less clacky and that are going to be more comfortable to write on. And 9 months in, we still don't have that kind of a thing at all, despite another tablet being issued by Kobo, the Kobo Sage. So my hope was, okay, so now you're getting into the writing game, maybe you'll optimize the writing experience, but no, at the moment, not yet. The pressure sensitivity is a little bit improved, so you do have, okay, well, I'm glad I was running, yeah. Well, this is another thing we'll talk about, the overall kind of stability of the system. But yeah, this is not an ideal kind of a platform. So if you're writing in a very thin brush, the system is able to kind of cope and is actually relatively fast, quite usable. However, as soon as you just go into a thicker pen, let's start a new one so that this is not okay. This is not okay after 9 months having a thing like that's just not something that I think is okay to have. So the behavior is not like that for every pen. So the brush pen, which is pressure sensitive, is behaving that way. However, if you actually go to a ballpoint pen, it is able to, well, no, not really. Sometimes, see? So now it was, now it's not. As if there's a threshold after which one it just, I don't get it. So if I start small, can it I don't know. You help me understand this type of behavior, but I think that this is not something that you would expect to see in a device that's been around for now, on a platform that's been around for, and it doesn't matter how large your brush is, it's basically just keeping track of the strokes. So some optimization and some kind of more testing, I would have expected that the platform would actually have this. Now, somebody would say, well, you're not going to use it like that. Well, you will if you start drawing, right? So if you want to draw a little bit and you want to use this kind of thing for some drawings and things, then you do bigger strokes and then you do have this kind of thing. But you wouldn't necessarily want to draw in the first place because it has the let me just kind of draw this kind of smiley dude here, and whatever, he's saying hello and he's just holding a flower, whatever. There you go. So that's that. And then maybe I wanna paint over it, and this part I don't have a problem with, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So if I start painting over, so far it's all good, but the moment I release, it's going to cover it. So somebody may say like, well, that's okay, that's how that works, it's not a problem. Well, it kind of is a bit of a problem, because now I choose a different kind of shade, and let's draw here, and magically the underneath stuff is starting to appear, and I start to see something while I'm drawing. I'm seeing something that's not the case, and then it refreshes, and then I see something entirely different. So I do understand what it's doing, and I do understand why it is there, but I don't necessarily agree this is something that's resembling a finished type of functionality. So this is not something that is completed, in my opinion, because no way is it okay that I start now adding things. Let's say maybe make it super thin, and maybe I want to start drawing something here. Well, something got weird here. What the? Okay, well, this is new. This is entirely weird. So right now it's, I hope that the camera caught that. that was entirely weird. So let me try and replicate, because this is a new problem that I have not experienced before. So it was this shade, and if I take the ballpoint thin one of a black color and I start drawing, yeah. Okay, so that was a visual kind of weirdness. It just looked really weird. Okay, well, either way, these are the issues that I'm talking about. That the overall functionality of the basic notebook is not really there, and I would expect it to be more polished and more of these kind of issues to have been addressed and finalized and fixed after, you know, it being on the market for 9 months, and after issuing another note-taking capable product that is probably using the same kind of approach. Now, another thing that is also kind of disappointing is that originally when I was reviewing it, I said that it was a little bit disappointing that you only have 3 templates and a blank. So if you really want to be super generous and call a blank slate a template, then you would say 4 templates. So grid, line, dot, and a blank, and no ability to add your own custom templates. And 9 months later, we still don't have any way of doing that. And that's yeah, nothing has been done on that front either. Now let's get into a advanced notebook. And the advanced notebook is it's an amazing kind of bit of tech. I really love how MyScript functions and what it allows a device to do. However, there are some drastic inconsistencies. For example, now I see yet another one. This was not a drawing like that. This drawing was scaled to be like this. and for some reason it's now scaled down. So that's yet another thing that's not been good. One thing that has been fixed was the recognition of the arrows. So previously I had issues with the arrows not actually being recognized correctly, but this has been dramatically improved, and it's far easier for the device to correctly recognize the arrow and to easily manipulate those anchors for the arrows. So that's something that most definitely has been improved. Things that have not been improved, well, for me the most basic one is we still don't have formatting options for the text boxes, either in this mode or if they are in the smaller mode as the content box. We don't have any way to format, adjust the justification, font size, bold, or anything like that. Nope, it's just these two formats and that's about it. It's bizarrely still not possible to search the content of the notebook, of the advanced notebook, even though it is like converting on its own. That's the whole point, is that it's all smart and it's converting everything. Nope, we still don't have an option to kind of search for the whatever drawing or whatever I want, a keyword within an advanced notebook. Nope, we don't have that. Color layering issues that I mentioned, they are still present here as well. Responsiveness with heavy content, I've kind of noticed that as well when you actually add more drawings. Mainly it's regarding the drawings. It's not happy with a lot of strokes, especially layered strokes. So if you can avoid the drawings, avoid the doodlings, and I think that you will have a much more stable experience with the advanced notebook on the Kobo Elipsa. That being said, if you do have drawings, then you will experience some instability issues, kind of permanent slowdown that you can't get rid of until you actually reboot the device. Sometimes just it generally getting stuck on the processing. Like even if I just wanted to kind of swipe, it just then goes processing and then stays and then nothing happens and things like that. So general instability, yes, and there's a problem with palm recognition and with this kind of side here. I find it extremely easy to do involuntary gestures in the advanced notebook, especially as far as the sliding up and down goes, as when you're repositioning things and working with it. So generally speaking, as far as I'm concerned, the only real improvement that I've seen is the recognition of the arrows. Everything else, to a smaller or a higher degree, all the issues that were present here 9 months ago, they are unfortunately still present, and I haven't seen any kind of general improvements or addressing of any of these issues now when I was using it. I also find it very strange that we still don't have an equal possibility to long press and select and mark paragraphs and words in PDFs. You can do it normally in an EPUB, but you can't do it in PDF documents, which is a tremendous confusion for me, because especially because the formatting really works well, especially with the auto orientation to landscape or portrait, and it really lends itself to be an excellent reader. And yes, you can annotate, you can do these things, but it is kind of necessary to be able to just create selections and mark them as you would in any other normal, or no, I mean, as you would normally on an EPUB on the same device. So it's really kind of confusing to me that this still has not been addressed or added to the platform, but yeah, it is what it is. After extensive time of using it, I do think that my original complaint that you don't have a dual dual color front light is a hurdle. So it is something that you constantly will kind of get into, and it would have been a far more comfortable device to actually have had dual color front light controls to actually make it a nicer thing. Very difficult to understand, especially because the Kobo devices up until now they had it, but I guess because they went up to a 10.3 inch panel, they kind of opted for these options. But either way, I am missing that warm Frontlight on the Kobo Elipsa. I do miss it quite a bit. One of the super positive things about the Kobo Elipsa is the pricing of it, right? But I was kind of hoping that at the launch date you had only the option of Kobo Elipsa pack, which included the device, the pen, and also that cover / dock, desktop dock thing, which was thicker than the device and as heavy as the device. And I was kind of hoping like that maybe we would get an option along the line during the lifetime of the device to have a cheaper version, maybe $350 or $320 or whatever, of just the device. No pen, no nothing, just the device itself for those who might want, because it is a tremendous value if you could actually get this kind of a thing for that amount of money. But at the moment, no, you still have to go $400 for the entire pack. And the problem is that that cover is something that is extremely cumbersome, and there are much more elegant alternatives that you can now buy on Amazon or wherever, something that you are more likely to use, especially because this is an exceptionally beautiful device. And I think that the design is still really gorgeous. It's still, excellent build quality. It's a really gorgeous thing to kind of hold in your hand and use. I maintain that it still is a very nice device, and to pair it with that ginormous cover dock thing is just strange. So yeah, it's kind of a waste. Sure, have a pack for people who want to buy it, but offer it as a single purchase for those who don't, so that they can actually save some more money. And yeah, they would probably see even more sales if they kind of offered it like that. I'm guessing, I don't know really, but that's at least my impression. Overall, as far as reliability goes, it's nothing broke. I haven't really used it that much, I have to say, but I have used it enough so that the nib has kind of worn in and kind of rubbed off a little bit. I had to clean it also, the surface. So yeah, I have used it normally. I've used it as a reader, I've used it as a note-taking device, but my main problem and the reason why I am not using it that much to actually test it and things is this pen and the writing experience. And it's as simple as that. If this was more pleasant, and if the device was more faster, more responsive, the writing experience was improved over time, something that the competitors have done, if the platform has addressed these issues that I mentioned, maybe I would have had an incentive to use the device more. I think that's kind of a shame, because still the functionality of the advanced notebook or the MyScript functionality that's added in here is truly exceptional. Like really, really amazing kind of functionality, especially for students and things like that. But you have a lot of kinks that needed to be ironed out, and when I received this was an early version. It was a version, like a software version of pre-release, and I was really hopeful. It kind of made sense back then. It's like, okay, it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of work the nicks out and kind of make it more stable. But no, even now, 9 months later, I've been trying it out sporadically from time to time. Whenever an update would come, I would try it out, but nothing really changed. It just remained unpredictable, sluggish when writing, and just not something that I can rely on, especially not when I compare it to other devices that I use on a daily basis. This one is very unpredictable. I don't know when a stroke is going to disappear. I don't know when the device is going to slow down, when I'm going to have an accidental touch or not, and things like that. And it's just, I think it's a shame to see that still present, because I'm absolutely certain that the hardware of this device is capable to do or deliver a much smoother experience, writing-wise, mainly writing-wise, I'm talking about. But at the moment it's not. And if you're thinking like, okay, well then it's a reader, yeah, but then you're lacking the warm light, and then you're kind of stuck with just the harsh blue light, and so it's not even as a reader, it's not complete, and you don't have the ability to kind of do this. So it kind of is captured in this weird limbo only because of the software limitations that are still unfortunately present. So I think that's something that I hope that at some point we do see a more dramatic improvement to the platform, because I think this device deserves it. Definitely deserves it, and has a potential to be so much more smoother and so much better. But unfortunately, 9 months later, in the majority of the negative points, let's say all of the negative points except conversion of the arrows, is still a problem. And to top it all off, we haven't really seen any improvements or additions to the platform that are worthy of speaking of. So yeah, the platform has not changed, improved, or fixed in well over 9 months, and that's a problem. Alright, so that's Kobo Elipsa now. Unfortunately, not much has changed between then and now. So good things remained good, and majority of bad things unfortunately remained bad. There was and still is a lot of room for improvement software-wise that can actually improve upon the whole platform, how it actually is perceived and how it's used. But unfortunately, we haven't actually had any of those things. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell down in the description below to get notified when new videos come out on My Deep Guide. You can also find in the description down below the link to the My Deep Guide server on Discord, which is a place where we're building up a little bit of a community for people to share their information, knowledge, jokes, anecdotes, experience, and all sorts of things in relation to the e-papers, e-ink, and eNote devices. In the description down below, you will also find a link to My Daily Organizer, the product, and the playlist as well. And My Daily Organizer is a fully hyperlinked PDF, interactive PDF organizer document that allows you to organize your year, quarter, week, month, day, and diary, and all sorts of things. And it's helping a lot of people. And if that sounds like it's something that might be interesting to you, then you can check out the My Daily Organizer playlist to see if this is a product that's right for you or not. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!